What is up, everybody? How are you all doing? David will hopefully be popping in and out. So I'm going to be covering day 4 of the Zion Foster unaliving trial. Wow, I'm already boomering it. Day 4, yeah, as Dave says, is only 2.5 hours, around 3-4 witnesses. And so far, they haven't really said anything convincing. It's a no body case. Yeah, I could see him being convicted, but there's really nothing to say he was responsible for her unaliving. So, Ronnie, hello. Queen Olive. Yes, David, I went through it. I didn't see the timestamp. I couldn't find when they showed the jury. But I'll be watching closely and take it off, I think. Because it was like 18 minutes in is when the judge mentioned it. Oh, thank you so much, Dina. You were so sweet. Happy Limerick Day. There's a starry-eyed dreamer Dolly into wondrous worlds he could see, with sensuous rocks and watery clocks and tigers being chased by a bee. I like it. Christine, how are you? Thank you so much. You're so generous, Dina. You're the best. Let's see. His own actions say he was responsible. Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides here, really. But anyways, let's get into it. We know how everything sounds. Considering how shaky the camera is, I'm not surprised jurors were shown. Guy looks like he had a few too many at lunch. Hello.
Hello. I can't, nothing is set up, so I can't like pop on or go on my computer or anything, but I wanted to pop in and chat a little bit.
Sounds good. Glad you're here.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to everyone.
Oh, yes.
Happy Mother's I guess Day. Including this woman here that's on screen. That's kind of sad, but
yeah,
bad timing on my end.
Yes, we are very sorry for her loss. Whoa. Seriously, what is this camera guy doing?
This is how he must have accidentally shown the jury. The judge says he shows 4 members of the jury.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
I'm just going to skip forward to when they start. Maybe we can...
Good afternoon.
You only have one person talking at a time. Will you try to work out as an apple?
H.
Thank you, Your Honor. Video that has been admitted as Exhibit 21. And if you can just look on the screen behind you briefly, are you familiar with those files that are depicted in Exhibit 21?
Yes.
And I'm just going to open up the first one, just kind of as an example. Back in January of 2022, where did you live relative to these homes that are depicted in the video?
Where the camera's coming from.
Okay, so right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And
right across the street is too hard for her to say.
Sort of camera that was where you lived.
It's a Waze camera, and I had it sitting in my windowsill.
Okay, and did you have the ability to access recordings from that camera system?
Yes,
And how would you be able to access recordings from that camera?
through the application.
And would that be on your phone?
Yes.
And at some point, did you go into the app on your phone and access some recordings from January 4th and January 5th of 2022?
Yes.
And did you do anything to
Oh, thanks, Matt.
sort of preserve or capture those recordings?
I just saved them.
Okay,
I just saved them.
and the camera was it your understanding the camera was continuously recording, or would it only record at certain points in time?
It only records at certain points in time. So if it like captures a motion, then it'll start recording.
Okay, and the recordings that you saved, did you do anything with those recordings at some point?
I provided them to the mother.
And when you say the mother, are you referring to Zion Foster's mother?
Yes.
If you can just explain briefly, what were the circumstances under which you provided the recordings to her?
I was looking out my window, and I saw a group across the street, and I had went over there to see what was going on, and she had told me that they were.
Objection to whatever was said.
Yeah, I guess without getting into anything she said. So you saw her in the area, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And at that point, you provided her the videos?
Yes.
And is my understanding correct that in terms of what's depicted on
Is this too loud now? Let me know, Chad.
the video, you didn't see any of that like firsthand yourself, is that correct?
No, just on the video.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I just have a couple brief questions. Did you install this particular surveillance system yourself?
Yes, you just plug it up.
Just plug it up? Okay. Did it have any type of internal storage as far as being able to store videos that were recorded?
They will stay for about 30 days.
30 days?
Mhm.
Okay. And after 30 days, would they then be deleted?
Yeah, they were just, I didn't have like a SD card or anything.
Okay. So you stated they were saved for a minimum of 30 days, correct?
Yeah.
Could you do anything to delete the videos yourself?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. And do you know what would happen after 30 days to the videos?
No, they just doesn't be there.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
You ready?
No, thank you.
Any questions from the jury? Seeing none, Dan, you can step down. So you'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait until each question is fully asked before you respond. You only have one person talking at a time. Please try to avoid a natural tendency for non-verbal answers such as shrugging the shoulder, nods of the head, while not as an because those will translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. Please state your name and spell.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Robert, Robert. My last name is Lalone. It's Lalone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honor. Good afternoon, sir. Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Michigan Attorney General's office as a special agent.
And before your current job as a special agent with the Michigan Attorney General's office, where were you employed before that?
With the Detroit Police Department.
And how long were you employed with the Detroit Police Department?
A few weeks shy of 27 years.
And back in January of 2022, were you employed with the Detroit Police Department at that point?
Yes, sir.
And what was your role at that time?
At that time, I was a lieutenant and I was assigned to major crimes.
And what were your sort of general duties in connection with being a lieutenant assigned to major crimes?
I had several different entities underneath me, including 3 squads from the homicide unit. I had headquarters surveillance and the electronic surveillance unit underneath my span of control also.
And as part of your role as a lieutenant with major crimes back in January 2022, did you have an opportunity to take a statement from someone by the name of Jaylin Brazier?
Yes, sir.
And do you see that individual in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir. He's seated, excuse me, he's seated at the defense table with a blue suit, blue shirt, dress shirt, and a blue, multicolored blue tie.
Thank you. If the record could just reflect that the witness is identified. And what was the date that you took the statement from Mr. Brazier?
That was January the 20th, 2022.
Okay, and where was that statement taken?
It was taken at one of the interview rooms in major crimes. I believe it was in room 520.
And when you took the statement, was anyone else present other than you and Mr. Brazier?
No, sir.
And to get Mr. Brazier to make a statement to you, did you threaten him in any way?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of force on him in any way?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of coercion to get him to make a statement?
They're going
No, sir.
into
Did you make any
avenues
promises
regarding
to
retracting
induce him
his
to make a statement?
confession.
No, sir.
Did you have any understanding of how long Mr. Brazier had been in custody up until the time you took the statement from him?
Yes, sir. I don't have the exact time of his arrest, but he's arrested the previous day, so give or take within 24 hours.
Okay, and did you have any reason to believe that during that period of time that Mr. Brazier had been denied any sort of adequate sleep?
No, sir.
Any reason to believe during that time he had been denied adequate food or water?
No, sir.
Any reason to believe that he appeared to be intoxicated or under the influence of alcohol or any controlled substance?
No, sir. He didn't have any visible signs, nor was there any odors of intoxicants or marijuana, anything like that.
And before you talked to Mr. Brazier, did you advise him of anything?
Yes, sir. I advised him of his constitutional rights.
And did he indicate to you whether or not he understood those rights and agreed to speak?
Yes, sir. He did.
And was his advice of rights something that was reduced to writing?
It was, utilized, it's called the Detroit Police Department Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification form. It's a standardized form with the rights written out on it.
Okay, and I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 49, Madam Clerk Turner.
Yes.
Sir, can you take a look at proposed exhibit 49 and
Yes, sir.
tell me what that is?
This is the Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification I utilized with Mr. Brazier.
Okay, and does that bear any sort of markings from him indicating that he understood his rights and agreed to speak with you?
Yes, sir. So I did, it's twofold. One of the things I did was I read him his rights out loud, and I had him read his rights, his first right back out loud to me. I do that as a way to make sure that the person's literate.
Hey, Valhalla.
If they are literate, I've had experience where they wouldn't tell me that. If they can articulate it, if he had stumbled or had trouble reading it, I probably would have read him again and went over him a little bit deeper. He didn't have any issues. He read the first right out loud, and then I asked him to fix his signatures next to each right. There's 5 of them. If he understood them, and advised him if he had any questions, to please let me know. In the end, I asked him if he understood everything and agreed with it to fix his signature, which he did. With the date and time I provided him, and then I affixed my signature on there also.
And that form that you're holding that's marked as proposed exhibit 49, is that a fair and accurate copy of the form that the two of you executed back on January 20th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
With that, I move to admit proposed exhibit 49. And the statement that you took from Mr. Brazier, was that something that was ultimately recorded?
Yes, sir. In the room, and I want to correct myself. I believe the recording was actually in room 519. It's all the interview rooms in the major crime section of the Detroit Police Department, audio and video recorded as this was.
Okay, and have you reviewed that recording since you took the statement?
Yes, sir.
And I'm pulling what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit 50. Is it your understanding that the recording of your statement with Mr. Brazier on January 20th is contained on this disc?
Yes, sir.
And does that recording fairly and accurately reflect the statement that you actually took from him on that day?
The recording I reviewed last week and then again yesterday does fairly and accurately was recorded fairly and accurately, yes.
Okay. With that, I move to admit proposed exhibit 50, Your Honor.
No objection. Your Honor, can we approach the brief?
Sure.
How can you grill potatoes without boiling them first? Wrap them in foil and put them on the grill. That's what I do. They essentially bake, but they're on the grill and they taste much better. Well, he hasn't pled guilty to disposing of the body. Okay, so Salvador's chat is a little misleading. Hang on a second. Yeah. So this guy right here that you're looking at right now, his cousin went missing on January 5th of 20. Now, he originally said that his cousin Zion wasn't with him. He hadn't seen her since May. They're looking for her. They're looking for her. She's run away a few times in the past and things like that. And then it comes out, he turns himself in and says, listen, she came over, we were doing drugs, and she just up and died. And I freaked out because we were doing drugs, and I took her body and I disposed of it. I put it in a dumpster, and I don't know what happened to her. I don't know why she died. I don't know. That's his confession. So it also comes out during the first day of trial that she has seizures and suffers from these seizures and has for a while. And those cause her to pass out and have other things like that. So it's possible that she just sort of died there as a combination of the drugs and her medical condition or whatnot. But although he's confessed to this, he hasn't pled guilty to it. He was tried and pled guilty to lying to police in a different county relating to this investigation. Now he's being tried for second-degree unaliving. Count 1 and count 2 is destruction of evidence, which is the hiding of the body. So he hasn't pled guilty to count 2. I think there's plenty of evidence that he is guilty of at least count 2. But to show that he created a reckless situation with high likelihood of great bodily harm or death and was and just disregarded the risks, there's really no evidence to that. So that is this particular case.
Yep.
Hopefully that makes sense for everyone.
I have to excuse the jury for a moment. I'm going to bring right back. All right.
The disposing of the body is the count 2. It's still a felony, but it's not unaliving.
And it looks like there may be some recording with the jury. There was an order entered at the outset of the trial. And it looks like, based upon what I've seen, is that from today, Mr.?
Yes. Yes.
At least the first 4 jurors and mentors, number 1, 2, and 3 are being recorded. I can't allow that. If that happens again, I'm going to have to start eliminating cameras.
So when did this happen? I'm still unclear as to when the jury was shown because I didn't show, or I didn't see rather the jury being shown.
I looked through it this morning and didn't see it either.
Okay, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go do my Mother's Day things. But you guys enjoy, and we'll see you Monday for day 5.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye. And Becca, I think judge is pretty good. Not a lot of objections, so hard to say, but fair. I think David knows the judge, so yeah, okay. I'm glad I didn't insult him then. No, David knows the judge. He's a good judge.
And I believe just for confirmation, Exhibit 50 was admitted, correct?
No, sir. All right, it's admitted.
And sir, I'm also holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 51. Have you seen this document?
If that's a copy of the transcripts from my interview, yes, sir.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
And is Proposed Exhibit 51 a copy of a transcript for this particular interview?
Yes, sir.
And so that'd be a transcript of the recording that's contained on Exhibit 50.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And does that transcript, from your review, fairly and accurately reflect the interview that you had with Mr. Brazier back on January 20th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And with that, I move to admit Proposed Exhibit 51 as well.
Okay.
And may I publish Exhibit 50, Your Honor?
Yes.
And sir, before we play the video, let me ask, is there a particular style you have when you're interrogating somebody?
Generally, yes. I've interrogated a lot of people over the years. I have a method of doing it, yes.
And how would you characterize the style or the method that you use?
I would almost say it's a soft sell. I'm not hard. I don't yell, scream, things like that. You see a lot of times on TV. I try to talk to the person, explain to them, I generally show them the evidence up to a certain point. Some things I may keep back just to see if they're going to be honest with me or not. But I try to tell them the truth and have a discussion with them. There's two sides to every story, and I try to get theirs.
Okay, and or a different style when you did this particular interview with Mr. Brazier?
No, we
Oh.
sat down, we had a discussion, explained to them what we had. and
Like finally fix the
talked about
audio.
Circumstances surrounding the case and some of my theories as to what may have happened.
Okay, and when you're giving theories, is it fair to say you kind of gave a lot of your theories during the course of this video?
Yes, sir.
And those are your theories, you would agree, not necessarily where the investigation may have landed finally, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm going to skip ahead of a lot of the early portion of the interview.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to skip from the
Hey,
beginning of the
Fed.
video,
How you doing, buddy?
all the way to about 48 minutes into the video. Now, during this portion of the video that I'm skipping, who's doing most of the talking during that time?
In the first part of the interview, majority of the talking was on my part.
And what's the purpose of you doing most of the talking at that point?
I was just trying to listen to response from Mr. Brazier to get a dialogue going to get him to talk to me.
Okay, and I'm going to start playing the video at 48 minutes and 2 seconds.
Correct? For right now, all we got is the edges. All this is up to interpretation. I don't like when things are up to interpretation because that's when things get a little wonky, right? I don't think that's, again, I like to find truth, and I don't think the truth lies in that. My interpretation of truth is different yours, different yours. If we talk about it and we say, boom, 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 this is what happened, then I can take that because it's right. To me, that would tell me, if you say, no, Bob, although you can see the edges, you can see it's green, it's really the ocean, it's just the color hues of the water. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Jay. I've got a wide open map right here on the puzzle right now. You and I gotta fill it in. Like I said, I'd like to know what happened leading up to it first, just for me, so I understand. I need to know, for me, I need to know what popped the cork, what set the pressure cooker, what let the things loose. Me, I need to know that. Me, I need to know that so I can go home and sleep at night. I know I did the best I do I could. And I sincerely mean that. That's for me. You know why I always want to know the truth? Because I never want anybody to answer for something they didn't do. I want the truth because I want an answer for you did this, but you didn't do this, this, and this. I always want the truth. I want the truth. That allows me to go home at night and sleep and realize that even though this person screwed up, even though people are looking at him and thinking they're a bad person, he's a decent person, but I helped him make it right. That's for me. That's me personally. I like to find out exactly what happened. I like to find out what leads up to it. Otherwise, would people give a shit? Do you think a lot of people give a shit what led up to it? No, they just want to find out, okay, you did something, okay, boom, here, sign here, boom, you're done. That's not me. I want the backstory. I need to know. I need to know for me. That's how people are like, how do you sleep at night? That's how I sleep, because I know that number one, I don't judge anybody, and number two, no matter where somebody's at, they're like, you're already down, why would I kick you? You know what I mean? What do I get out of that? I'd rather give you a hand and help you up and help you on down the road. You know what I mean? You're at the lowest point in your life. Why would I, keep pushing you down? And again, here's the trouble scale, my friend. You're here. Remember I told you? There's 25 lumps coming. You're still going to get some lumps. Best place off the scale. But if you're stuck on the scale, do you want to be up here or down here? How do you get it to come down? If you're telling the truth, that's how you get it to come down.
Aw,
Right?
I'm your buddy. Don't worry.
Okay. Maybe you didn't intentionally. What happened? You didn't intentionally. Okay.
Like the drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently, just before the night, of course, I was trying like psychedelics and acid, realistically the same thing. And
Okay.
I think that's what killed her.
Do you? Did you put some of it in the marijuana? It was in your marijuana.
There were tabs,
Uh-huh.
and I had two. And
Were you using it that night?
yes,
Did you have like a freaking momentary, like, didn't know what you were doing moment?
no, she also had she's attacked herself.
Let me ask you this. The problem with those drugs are, when you're on them, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's the reason people take them, right? Did you do something when you were, because again, I'm trying to figure this out, and that would make complete sense. When you dropped acid, did you have, I'm not saying it's okay, but
I was completely confident. Completely. I just think, I don't know if the effect for her was positive or, because I know it does a lot in your brain, and like
does a lot of, I'm gonna tell you right now, it makes sense to me now. It all makes sense to me. You understand that, right? Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out how this nice young guy, Jay, could ever hurt anybody. But it makes sense to me now. Smoking weed mellows you out. Being drunk maybe makes you angry or an angry drunk. You know, people get in bar fights. You start messing with psychotropic because it makes you do things because you're not, it's not you, that's not Jay at that point. You understand that, right? If you did something under the influence of that, I need to know that because that's a big difference and I can understand that. That I can appreciate. If you did something after you took acid, that's a game changer. I can appreciate and understand that. That would help me wrap my mind around how this happened. Because I have to tell you, there's some people outside here, they're like, oh, he's a psychopath. He's got no emotion. I don't think you are. I think, honestly, we've spent quite a bit of time together. If you dropped acid and did something to her, then I need to know that because I need to convey that to them. That's not you at that point. That's the acid. You understand that, right? This stuff is very, very dangerous. I mean, people take drugs to escape reality because of the pressure we're under and everything else. And trust me, with COVID, with this, with that, everybody's under a ton of pressure, probably more than any time in our recent history. But if you did something to her under the influence of drugs, I'm not talking about smoking weed. People wouldn't believe that. Like, you know, does it relax your inhibitions? Yeah. Does it cause people to do stupid things? Absolutely 100%. And probably everybody has a good laugh about the next day. You start messing with psychotropic drugs that change your reality. That's a whole other, that's a game changer. You realize that, right? Holy crap, dude. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. If you did something to her, it wasn't you. It was the drugs. It was the acid. Because I'm telling you, in a past life, I understand what you're saying. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's laying a trap. I mean, basically, they try to get them to admit to something less. And yeah, he's still, it might be a little less, but he'd still be in deep trouble if he was on drugs and did it. But the way he's talking, it sounds like he's mitigating what happened, trying to give him a way to confess to something not as bad.
It's horrible. I can see you feel a little bit better, getting a little bit of the weight off your chest. We still got a little longer to go, but I see some relief in you at least. What happened once you guys took the drugs? Tell me that. What happened once you took the pills?
I was fine. I was really weird. It was normal, fine experience and everything. By the time I went to the drink, she's been there. I noticed that she said that she's been tired. It was shifting from, you know, seeing like the effects of it, like the classical effects of things, to something. Her experience wasn't the same as mine, basically.
Oh no, because it's individual. Remember how we talked about physiology? It affects everybody differently.
And I think it's something like shut her down. Because I know my experience is, let's say if I'm having anxiety or something, it can overload your senses like tremendously. I don't know, but
There's something else that happened, I think. You physically did something, I think, under the influence of it.
when I came back, she wasn't functional or anything.
And you gave this, where'd you get the acid from?
This guy on Facebook.
So they were dots?
Yeah, for like little, not stickers, there's like, I guess it's all cut cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
You
Like
just
a
put
little-
it under your tongue or whatever.
You took two and she took one?
No, I had to, we both have one. And I know I don't know like how much, I don't know how to measure how much is on any of them, but
Like a little sugar candy type thing, right?
you know, let's feel like a piece of paper instead of like just following this cardboard.
And you put the cardboard under your tongue.
That's why I said, my mother, she wasn't responsive. I was like, oh, this is bad because for what it was getting to her, I didn't know what to do and I freaked out.
So when you say she's unresponsive, what did you do?
And they immediately thought they had to do this.
Okay, which caused you to do what? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you did something to her physically. I can tell when we were talking about it before.
No, I did not physically hurt her or anything. At all. At all. It wouldn't have at all. I started checking her breath, and like I said, and it was just declining basically. I waited about 15, 20 minutes, and it was nothing. She had no responses at all. Like whatsoever.
And she could have still been breathing when you put her in the dumpster, you realize that, right? Did you freak out because she started having a bad trip and do something? Did you get freaked out and figure out to do something? Otherwise,
No.
my problem is if we find her and we find trauma like manual strangulation or something, then we're screwed. I want to get on the front end of it.
Once the body was there, that's what that's what's happening. Nothing, no bashing her head in or
No, I don't think you did. I don't think you bashed her right again. I said you didn't bash her head and you didn't shoot her, you didn't stab her. I can see that. I'm telling you, I can see that. What I can also see, and just my opinion, and this is my theory. My theory is you might have gotten a little scared and freaked out once you like kind of fucking passed out. And something else might have happened. That's my opinion.
That's all I have.
All right.
Completely.
Give me 1 minute, okay? Idiot.
Stop the video at 59 minutes and 30 seconds. And so during this portion of the statement that you just reviewed, you and the defendant are discussing a particular controlled substance, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And which controlled substance was that?
LSD,
And is there a more sort of common name for LSD?
acid.
Okay. And in connection with your discussion about acid, you made some comments to the defendant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I think I can, I'm not leading on it. I'm just trying to lay some foundation. I guess would you agree you made some commentary, you shared some commentary with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
And what's the purpose of doing that, some comments?
Just to elicit some statements from him to have some kind of severance of understanding. And the comments I was making to him about like him personally, things like that, those were sincere. He's a particularly young man. I just wanted to find out a baseline. I was legitimately trying to figure out what happened.
Okay. Thanks so further.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
So originally you were asked about you giving theories to Mr. Brazier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you agreed that some of these theories, not all these theories, weren't really supported by evidence, correct?
Without having the physical body, we really don't have the evidence to support my theories. No.
So, okay, so just to be clear, your theories were not supported by evidence, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And you were just kind of, I guess, just throwing things out there to see if it's still, for lack of a better term.
I would say yes. I was trying to probe around and see if I could elicit something from him that would allow me to go in a little bit deeper and find a little bit further about what had happened to her.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Any redirect?
Just quickly, when you said that your theories at the time were supported by physical evidence, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that is it fair to say you're talking about at that time, back in January 20th?
Definitely.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, and at some point, you left Detroit, the Detroit Police Department, and have you been involved in the investigation since then?
No, sir. I have not.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any questions, any requests?
No.
Any questions from the jury? Is there a question? All right, Ms. Brazier.
Chochnacki.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you. Please take your seat at the witness stand.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
We will be asked a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. We will have one person talking at a time. Please try to learn natural tendency for non-verbal uses such as shrugging the shoulder, nod to the head, as well as nods. We also no translation for the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please state your name and spell it.
My name is Christopher Chinacki, CHRISTOPHER, CHOJNACKI.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, where do you currently work?
I'm currently employed by IC Solutions.
And what is IC Solutions?
It's a telecommunications organization for facilities with incarcerated individuals.
And what is your role with IC Solutions?
I am the site administrator at the Macomb County Sheriff's Office and jail. So I'm responsible for maintenance for the equipment for telephones, tablets, visitation units, and also responsible for fulfilling records requests.
And how long have you been in that role?
A little over 2 years now.
And in connection with, well, let me ask you this first. Based on your role, do you have some familiarity with the Macomb County Jail?
Yes, sir.
And do inmates at the Macomb County Jail have the ability to make phone calls to the outside?
They can make phone calls if their account is funded, or they can make collect phone calls if someone will accept those charges.
And when an inmate from the Macomb County Jail makes a phone call to the outside, are those calls recorded?
Yes, they are recorded.
And are recordings of inmate calls stored in some way?
They are stored electronically at our data center in San Antonio, Texas, and we have a backup data center in Atlanta, Georgia.
And as part of your role with IC Solutions, do you have the ability to access recordings of inmate phone calls in some way?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is your ability to access such recordings?
The recordings can be accessed based on search query. That can be a date and time frame. That can be a particular individual that's calling, or phone numbers that are being called.
Okay. And are you, when you access those recordings, are you doing it through a like a computer program or the internet? How does that work?
They have a web interface that I log into to access the records.
Okay. And so if you were asked to pull recordings from a specific inmate from a specific time frame, would you be able to do that?
Yes.
And at some point, were you asked to pull a handful of recordings for an inmate named Jaylin Brazier?
Yes, there was a request at the end of February of this year, beginning of March, that I fulfilled.
Okay. And in response to that request, did you pull some recordings associated with that inmate?
There was approximately 7 recordings of interest that I supplied to the requester.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 52. Is it your understanding that this particular disc contains 2 of those recordings?
Yes, my understanding is that there's a subset of 2 recordings out of the ones that I provided.
And would it also include a data sheet that includes data associated with the recordings?
Yes, there would be a query sheet that shows the parameters of the query, and then the record information as far as date, time, individual, phone number, where they were calling from.
And these particular recordings, are they associated with a specific inmate?
As I recall, they were associated with inmate Brazier versus Jaylin.
Okay. And in terms of the 2 recordings on this disc, is it fair to say that other than redactions for certain content that would not be admissible in court, that these recordings are in substantially the same condition they were in when you pulled them directly from the system?
They appeared to be when I saw the evidence.
Okay, thank you. With that, I move to amend proposed exhibit 52, Your Honor. Thank you. May I publish?
Yes.
And sir, I want to direct your attention to the screen behind you, if you're able to see that. Do you see these 2 files?
Yes, I do.
And in terms of the names of these files, is there any sort of information that we can glean from the file names?
Yes, sir. File names generally contain information regarding the record. The first series of numbers before the underscore would be the unique identifier of the records within our database. The second set of numbers would be the inmate number associated with the phone call. And following that, you have the date of the call, the time of the telephone call, the phone number that was called, and then lastly, the identifier of the device that was used to make the telephone call.
Okay, and if we then open up the data sheet. Now, does this sheet contain the information for all 7 calls that you were requested to pull?
Yes, that includes, for the most part, the information that's included in the file name of the file. And there's some additional information towards the end there that includes what type of call it was, with the billing bracket, includes the common name of the identifier of the phone call, and then the amount of time spent on the phone call.
Okay, and you mentioned there's an inmate ID. Is that, can you explain what an inmate ID is?
when individuals are booked into the Macomb County Sheriff's Office, if they haven't been there before, a new ID number is generated for them. Otherwise, they retain any number that they made previously that's unique to that individual.
Okay, and so would the name then correspond with a particular ID?
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the phone number dialed, is that reflected in this column labeled phone number?
Yes, sir.
And would that be the same number for all of the calls in question, including the 2 recordings on this disc?
It appears
Ending 6114.
1-0-9-7-9-5-4-2-8. Inmate ID 3-9-2-6-8-2. Date 2022 1-25. Time 1-3-1-1-2-3. Dialed number 1-3-1-3-5-1-6-7-0-4-6. From station 6-1-1-4. Press 1 for English. The time is 1:11 p.m. If you are depressed, thinking of harming yourself, or having thoughts of suicide, immediately reach out to a deputy, mental health clinician, or medical personnel, or any staff member. Press 1 to place a call. Press 2 to speak to your PIN number, followed by the pound sign. After the tone, please say United States of America.
United States of America.
Press 0 to make a
Are
prepaid
you
collect
hear me?
call or speed dial call.
Are you screwing
Press
with me?
1 to make a debit call. Press 2 to make a calling card call. Press for calls within the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. Please enter the area code prefix.
Can you really not hear me? Okay, thank you.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from an inmate at Macomb County Jail. Your account balance is $20.96. To hear the charges for this call, press or say 2. To accept this call, press or say 5. To refuse this call, this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time.
If you are visiting or talking to an inmate on the phone and they sound depressed, may be thinking of harming themselves, and you feel there may be a life-based issue, such as the potential for suicide or other serious concerns, please call 586-307-9426 and request to speak to a shift supervisor immediately.
Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking.
I'm going to pause at 3 minutes and 3 seconds and skip to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And sir, just to be clear, what's the, if we're looking at the file name again, what's the date of this particular call?
Based on the file name information, the date of that phone call would be January 25th of 2022.
And I'm going to resume playing the video at 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Or not the video, the call, sorry.
That person or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Hey, bro, that's the bed in our basement.
I don't know.
I said, you know, there's a bed in our that's in our basement.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, have you guys ever had anybody down there who checked that for key down? Like, bro, that basement's just covered, that bed's covered in fucking dust. It's just the way I flat, bro. They're really trying to make a hole in there. It is.
You know that, he switched his story.
You say what?
The police talk about the news saying that he switched his story or whatever.
What's I don't know. I haven't had any updates on news shit going on. But yeah.
Like my friend, they're really trying to keep you in there. Well, we doing everything out here. We're trying to get you out. It's probably about to be a while.
I know. I told the court yesterday, I told the dude that was representing me for yesterday that everything that I said in that statement was physically out of like fear from my family and shit, and that Gary literally had told me what to say to say that, and how he was like say that like, he can't help me in swap charge, and they think everything that you are to say everything for all her and that he was like, what? That's wild. Yeah.
Positive 7 minutes and 12 seconds and forward to 10 minutes.
Got
down. Mr. Boyd.
She's crazy. I said, really never went to the police department. That's what you are. It's nothing.
I feel every day it was going to make me worse anyway.
Yeah, I know. So, what do you do?
Stop it at 10 minutes and 29 seconds. And moving to the next file, what would be the date associated with this file?
Based on the filing information, the date of that telephone call appears to be February 9th, 2022.
And I'm going to publish that file, which for the record ends in the numbers 4113. And I'm going to skip ahead to the 4-minute mark.
It's just being focused on things. Anything that anybody comes up with, it's just being ran with. Literally. That's all my first court date, they told me I couldn't speak. The second one I had, he said I couldn't speak. He's going to speak for me. So that's why it's perfect for the older judge. I need to be able to speak for my fucking self. Because badly, I've been getting no organization there, sitting down and talking to detectives. I said, they think that I turn myself in and they lock me up there. They don't know anything. Literally. So that's why I'm still running off any little shit that they can come up with. And it's pissing me off so fucking bad. But again, the problem is, like I hope that this next court they let me fucking talk for myself. Because they're trying to make this dumbass narrative speaking on my fucking name and fucking shit up even worse, you feel me?
Yeah.
It's really fucking irritating. Like shit. And then, like I said, when I talked to the detective, I told them what I told them, and they swear to God, it was more to it. Like, I told you they were really pressing me for extra shit. I'm like, I can't tell y'all more, because I told y'all all there is to tell you, feel me? And then after they start trying to make that fucking penny cat burger charge, they have to drop it. I'm like, bro, nothing I said was anything like that. And then I cooperate with you motherfuckers and everything, so I don't know what the issue is. So the issue is clearly they're just trying to publicize the goddamn thing, the goddamn case, that shit.
When they try to say that the legal said that you're trying to cover up for somebody and you're making it that people
And
yourself.
Somebody's threatening me to not speak. I'm like, y'all hear how fucking stupid y'all sound?
And so why would you lie? I'm like, y'all don't know shit. The reason why you don't want to say anything is because the voice was not to say shit. Second of all, she did gonna say some why would you go up there and tell me on social media to say that's kind of something when you have to go on television and not that you are a person's interest.
Bro,
they have to
like, that's all I knew what was going on beforehand, all the shit that was happening. It's like, people shut the fuck up. Like, damn, this shit's nice, but I'm telling you, it's really pissing me off, bro.
I know.
I know. I'm ready to put hands on fucking everybody, bro.
Stop.
It's like, it's really blowing me, dog. Like,
I'm going to stop at 6 minutes and 47 seconds. No further questions?
Just a couple brief questions. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Now you indicated that, I believe this inmate calling solutions spreadsheet that you looked at, you indicated that for the most part, it has all the information that's contained in the file name?
Yes.
Okay. What information would it be missing?
Information specific to the billing information, mostly the length of the call, how long they were billed for, what the billing class was, whether it was a local or not local call, the type of call payment, whether it was collect or prepaid or what have you.
Okay. And does every inmate who uses this phone system, they have to enter their PIN number?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Is that a system-generated PIN number that's provided to the inmate, or is that a PIN number that the inmate chooses for themselves?
It's a little bit of both. The PIN is a combination of their inmate number, which is supplied by the jail once they're booked. And then it also includes a 4-digit code that the inmate themselves select.
And are you able to verify, what methods are you able to verify whether or not what PIN number or that particular PIN number is entered prior to making the phone call?
It's entered into the database, and that's one of the 2 factors that it uses to go ahead and verify the individual's identity in order to place the phone call.
Okay. And is that information reflected on the inmate calling solution spreadsheet, whether or not the PIN number was entered or what that PIN number may be?
Yes, sir, that PIN is entered in there. Although, to be honest, I'd have to look at the spreadsheet again. generally, when I provide the records, I don't include that PIN in and of itself.
Okay.
That's, again, an internal check to verify that the proper person is using the telephone.
Like there could be some situations where inmate may share their PIN number with another inmate in order for them to use the phone.
That is a possibility. Yes.
In your experience, does that happen?
It happens voluntarily and involuntarily, yes.
Okay. And is that a frequent occurrence?
I couldn't tell you how frequent that is, but I do know that it happens, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No further questions.
You good, right? Any questions for the jury? Sir, you accepted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The subject will call Liza Moyer.
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Thank you. Please take your seat, please.
You actually did. When we ask a series of questions, please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. We'll have one person talking at a time. Please try to limit initial tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrugging the shoulder, nod to the head, as well as non-president. There's also translation to the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you state your name and spell it.
Liza Moyer, Liza Moyer.
Thank you.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Ma'am, where do you currently work?
I work for the Michigan Department of Corrections.
And what is the Michigan Department of Corrections?
It's where, in course, after conviction, you are sentenced to do your prison sentence within the department.
And what is your role with the Michigan Department of Corrections?
I'm an intelligence analyst.
And what are the scope of your duties as an intelligence analyst?
I investigate internal and some external crime. I also work with law enforcement and provide them things that, if a request comes from them.
Do you have familiarity with whether inmates of the Michigan Department of Corrections have the ability to make phone calls outside of prison?
They do.
And are phone calls that inmates make from the Michigan Department of Corrections recorded?
Yes.
And are those recordings stored in some way?
Yes.
And as your role as an intelligence analyst, do you have the ability to access recordings of inmate phone calls at the Michigan Department of Corrections?
Yes.
And can you describe, just in general terms, how that system works, how you're able to access recordings specific to a particular inmate?
So the Department of Corrections contracts a third party for the phone service. That company is called Viacast. It was previously known as GTL. Calls going back to 2011 are stored in a server by that company. And we have the ability to go and search calls made by any incarcerated individual by their prison number, their assigned number, the number that they dialed, their location, a specific phone, and we can retrieve those calls, download those, and send those in various ways, whether that be by email, sometimes a security, or on disk.
Okay, and were you asked to locate two specific calls for an inmate named Jaylin Brazier?
Yes.
And were you able to go into the system and access those calls?
Yes.
And when you accessed those calls, what did you do with them?
I downloaded them first, and then I sent them to
Okay.
the requester.
And I am holding what has been marked as people's proposed exhibit 83. Is it your understanding that this disc contains those two calls that you accessed attributable to Jaylin Brazier?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that those calls are in substantially the same condition they were in when you accessed them and downloaded them directly from the system?
Yes.
And does this disc, is your understanding that it also contains a data sheet that includes certain details about the nature of these two calls?
Yes. We always include those when we send those type of calls.
And this particular data sheet, it has data from more than just the two calls in question, is that correct?
Yes.
But it includes the data for these two specific calls?
Yes.
And what sort of data is available on that sheet?
It will show the person that made the telephone calls first, last name, their location. The location is 3 letters generally on that type of sheet, which is just the facility's code. It'll show the date and the time as well.
Okay.
And the telephone number that the individual called.
And with that, I move to admit proposals at A3.
The only thing I would add, I'm not sure if she was the proper.
She's the Michigan Permanent Corrections, I believe,
These particular cars did
for
say
jail
that
calls.
these particular cars are maintained by a third party. And I don't believe she stated that she did any additional steps to verify the authenticity of the car, but rather just download and send the cars off. I think more of a proper witness would be an individual who might have or formerly known the GTL in position by the officer.
And again, Your Honor, I've already had a witness identify the defendant's voice on the recordings on the specific desk, and I believe that a proper foundation is otherwise unavailable.
Certainly, she's testified that she has access. There's a process utilized through the third party to allow access. There's been a proper foundation.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm also holding what I have marked as proposed exhibit A2. It is a MDOC record containing some housing information for Jaylin Brazier. And it's a certified copy of that record that I'm moving to admit under Michigan Rule Evidence 902 subsection 11 as a certified copy of a record of regularly conducted business.
It's 82?
82, Your Honor. Okay, and I want to ask you first about exhibit 82. Can I publish that, Your Honor?
Yes.
And may I also have leave to publish 83? If we look at exhibit 82, what sort of information is up here in the top left-hand corner?
The heading is the specific information for the incarcerated individual. In this case, is his first, middle, and last name. His prison MDOC number is there on the left, and that number is unique to him. Whether he's discharged and comes back, he's re-signed that same number, and his date of birth.
And if we go down to the bottom toward the section entitled Movements, what's the basic sort of information that we can glean from that section of exhibit 82?
Each line indicates where the prisoner was housed. This is essentially his movement record.
Okay.
The very first line, line number 2, indicates that he arrived to Newberry on June 16th, and then the line number 1, he left Newberry and went to Macomb Correctional Facility on October 18th, 2022. From Macomb to Cooper Street, I'm sorry. It's right
Okay,
here.
so October 18th, the record of 2022, the record would indicate that he was arriving at Macomb Correctional Facility or leaving Macomb Correctional.
He was leaving Macomb on October 18th to Cooper Street. He arrived to Macomb on June 16th, line number 2.
Okay, and so during the period of time from June 16th, 2022 to October 18th, 2022, based on the record, where would Jaylin Brazier have been located?
He was being housed at Macomb Correctional Facility.
Okay, and if we go to exhibit 83, do you see the 2 files listed here, the audio files?
Yes.
And what, if anything, can we understand from the names of the files? Is there anything significant of the file names in terms of the data reflected there?
No.
Okay. If we go into the data sheet, and looking, we see this first file ending. What does that end in? What are the 3 digits?
532.
Okay.
W18.
Yeah, the numbers. 532. Okay. And so if we go into
amazing.
okay, do you see row 80 in
Yes.
the data sheet here? What is the sort of basic information that row 80 contains?
It has the site ID, which is essentially what corresponds to each facility. So then it has the telephone number that the individual dialed,
Okay.
the date.
And what would be the date in row 80?
That would be October 1st of 2022.
Okay.
That's the time that the call was made. That's the 3-digit code for Macomb Correctional Facility. And where it says HU1A1, that's the specific telephone. That's a location within the facility.
Okay.
The PIN number is the prisoner's MDOC identification number, just with a 0 in front of it. As first, his last name, and the duration is how long row 80's call lasted.
Okay, and then you see this column toward the far right indicating file name.
Yes.
Is there any significance to this file name in row 80 relative to this file name reflected in the top file on exhibit 83?
They're the same.
Okay, I'm going to publish that file again ending 532. Sorry, I forget this thing's my computer crash. I just need to use a different player.
Becca, they have to verify. They can't just play an audio. So the reason they're calling her is to, I guess, verify the chain of command that she knows the records to be legitimate and gotten through or recorded through the regular business practices. So it's just they have to go through it, and yeah, all of this is just to play jail calls.
Please enter your PIN number. At the beep, repeat the phrase. With Global Telly, my voice is my password. Please enter the area code and phone number. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected.
Yes, I'm impersonating David.
Please hold. Hello, this is a prepaid call from
right now.
a prisoner at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Macomb facility. If you feel you're being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL customer service at 855-466-2832. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press your current balance is $8.74. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Judge, would it be possible to turn up the volume?
Just on something else.
What?
So you know when David used to run away and he used to go spend with that lady, like just hide with that lady house in that lady house? She called your mom saying that a detective called her that's new on the case, that's going around asking, calling people, asking them about what they know about the case. So if anybody come to you, deny everything.
I'm going to do good.
Like, yeah, it's just trying to figure out how to say this.
Hey, hold on, I'll call you back, okay? Make sure your phone's charged, right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and again, the date for this particular call would have been which date? In row
80.
80?
That's October 1st, 2022.
Okay, and I just want to show you briefly something that has been admitted as exhibit 21. See this date in the green box at the top of exhibit 21
Yes,
on page 5? Do you see a date reflected there?
yes,
What's that date?
October 1st, 2022.
Okay. And
Aw.
I'll show you something on page 22 of exhibit 71. You see this blue box?
Yes,
You see a date in that box?
yes,
What's the date there?
October 2nd, 2022.
Okay. And going back to exhibit 83, in terms of the second audio file, what are the last 3 numerical digits of that file?
947.
And if you go back to the call data sheets, looking at row 79, what sort of information can we glean about the call reflected in row 79?
The call was made on October 1st, 2022. at 19:35.
So would that be before or after the last call that you just heard?
That's after,
Okay, would that be roughly just short of 2 hours?
correct, yes.
Okay. And the location again of that call?
That was at MRF Macomb,
And the inmate that that call is attributed to?
Jaylin Brazier.
Okay, and then for the call in row 79, you see the file name reflected in the file name column?
Yes.
And in terms of that file name, is there any significance with respect to the second file that is located here on Exhibit 83?
Yes, they are the same.
Okay, and I'm going to publish that file. And again, this just for the record, this file is on Exhibit 83 and ends with the numerical digits 947.
For a collect call, press 0. For a debit, please enter your PIN number. At the beep, repeat the phrase. With Global Telly, my voice is my password.
With Global Telly, my voice is my password.
Please enter the area. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected. Please hold. Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Brazier.
a prisoner at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Macomb facility. If you feel you're being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL customer service at 855-466-2832. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $8.64. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello? Hey, yeah, still waiting, but, so, I'm sick. Are you okay, first off?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, is it anything major?
No.
Wait, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, is it anything like the one major thing it could be, it's a major? Okay.
But
So,
it's just a heads up, and you be aware.
no, that's not talking. So when David ran away, you saw the old lady that was across the street?
The lady that he went to go hide, like, yeah.
Okay.
So she had picked your mom up and everything. You started to tell Julie, keep a heads up, because it's another, yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say.
Jackie, you're so terrible. Oh my God, you're so
I know,
terrible.
because I know.
I know, baby, I know.
But
I can hear thinking so critically. I literally, I was sitting in the day room, literally, because I don't know why I think better when I'm around a lot of noise in here. So I'm sitting in the day room, just tackling, and I got a fucking migraine, so I'm just like deciphering certain shit. Oh man, while waiting for this other thing, but yeah, my assumption there, the most logical and possible one, right, is that there's nothing major or new, and due to that, there's a last effort to put together any types of anything, and that's basically the most logical thing that I came up statistically. So
I do want you to know, keep your head up. Don't
of course.
say nothing, you should be
Of
lying.
course. Baby, stop talking.
I know, I understand.
I know what you speak on certain things. Okay.
No, I know,
I already know talking about it, baby. Shit for watch TV, crosswords, fucking videos to the news, and walk around the shack on yard, literally. I got nothing to talk about too, that these motherfuckers should do. We definitely gotta work on your words though. Oh my God.
My mind has been going, like, I don't know.
Oh, don't even worry, baby. Don't even worry. Just continue on like you were. When I get you, I'll break down my thoughts to you a lot more detail. But just continue to relax. Overthink anything, overstress anything. My brain works a lot on statistics and probability, so I don't feel the need or foresee the need to really go anywhere with it. Yeah, just relax. Today is the first, tomorrow's the second, That's what, if it's to stop the COVID thing in here, yeah, stop searching for COVID especially. So, you know, and usually get a pick for that. But actually nothing. So don't worry about nothing. Just continue on with nothing and what you're doing, okay?
I'm not worried. I'm just giving you a, you know.
Yeah, I know, baby, and I appreciate it. There's no need to go trust me. My mental state is so far ahead of shit.
I have faith on what's going on right now, so I have nothing really putting me in fear or making me lose faith.
That's good. That's good. That's how I'm supposed to be.
I just need you to keep it clear and stay, do what you've been doing. Don't fuck nobody.
I know, baby. I know, baby.
Nobody.
Baby, you're adorable. I love you so much. I love you so much. Nothing has changed in my mindset or behavior just since this shit first started, okay? So trust and believe I'm constantly hyper aware of everything I'm hearing and new people, suddenly anybody can get everything. The slightest thing takes me off. Those words.
Yes, because I said the same words. I don't got time for nobody. I swear to God.
Just like with my mom and David, I pay attention. I pay attention to words, word choices, all that. I'll tell you, leave that part to me, okay? This will have to be.
Oh, and I only got one step left, so I'm going to send you,
send me a fucking letter. How you talking about J Pay? Send me a motherfucking letter. How about that? Yeah.
You know what letter?
Did you get the life J Pay out there, shit?
Yeah.
That short one?
Yes.
You understood it?
Yes.
Okay. I regard the thought there, like, how do I? Okay, that's how it is. I know this. But I love you. I don't want you to call, okay?
Okay.
I literally been sitting in the day over the last probably hour, literally on some fucking Jimmy Neutron, 7 different pathway possibility type shit. So each one logically leads to the same one. Well, most of them lead to the same one. So yeah, don't even let it get you anxious, okay?
I'm good. I'm not anxious at all. I have good faith in everything that's going on right now.
Oh man, okay, all right, okay. We'll talk, okay?
Okay,
I love you.
my phone's on the charger right now.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, nothing further.
Good afternoon. Couple questions. So you stated that a third party stores these phone calls?
Yes,
Okay, and you stated that's BioPath?
Viapath,
Oh, BioPath.
VIAPATH, and it's one word.
Okay. And that was previously
GTL, yes.
So when did you personally request these audio calls?
I did not, I have the ability to download them from the server that we use.
Oh, so you personally didn't request these audio calls? Correct?
No.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review these audio calls?
Yes,
Okay. And when did you review these audio calls?
at the time of the request, I don't recall the exact date. Within that week, I usually get the request and I usually work on something like this within 5 to 7 days.
Okay. Do you know who personally downloaded these calls?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry. So you made the request and you downloaded the calls, right?
Well, the way that the system works is it's in a server. I can go in and search them myself. I don't have to request them from a third party.
Okay. And do you know, if you know, where the calls are actually stored as far as the server?
I believe that they're stored with Viapath in a server that they maintain.
Okay. But you're not sure, correct?
I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure.
And you wouldn't know where that server was located?
I do not.
Do you know their data retention policies at BioPath?
I do know some of them, yes.
Some of them?
Yes.
Okay, but not all of them?
No.
Do you know how long certain calls are maintained and preserved?
From 2000, the Michigan Department of Corrections can go back to 2011. But I don't know about the other agencies or states that we serve because I believe that contract's nationwide.
Thank you.
You do that?
No, you're on.
Any questions, Jerry? See those in. Sure.
there. We just heard
Don't care
testimony
about you.
reporting.
Please.
One sec of Lotus
Come on.
out there.
Got us the edges. All this is.
To voluntary innocent statement.
No questions.
Thank you.
From him?
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to.
Session early.
And how long have you been with the Detroit Police Department?
I am in my 27th year.
And
Okay.
what is your
Advice me, I
role
think.
with the Detroit Police Department?
Currently, I am assigned as a supervisor and sergeant with the Detroit FBI Violent Crime Task Force.
And how long have you been in that role?
I'm in my 5th year there.
And what is
No.
the FBI's
Making
Violent
sure.
Crimes Task Force?
The Violent Crime Task Force is a multi-jurisdictional team. It's an FBI-led team utilizing local departments, agencies, members of the Department of Corrections, Detroit Police, Livonia Police, Northfield Police, that assembles this team. So it's the theory is it's a force multiplier for assisting other agencies.
Okay, and before you joined the Violent Crimes Task Force, what did you do with the Detroit Police Department?
Previous to that, the previous 13 years to that, I worked at Detroit Police Homicide Section.
And what was your role in your 13 years with the homicide section?
Well, I worked as a police officer and also as a sergeant in homicide. I worked with a squad work, which was given a geographical area, assigned cases. I worked in our homicide task force, which handled the high-profile cases, law enforcement involved shootings. I ran our cold case squad for almost 2 years, and then I went back to the homicide task force.
Okay. And as part of your current role with the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force, did you have some involvement into the investigation of Zion Foster's disappearance?
Yes, sir.
And as part of your involvement with that investigation, did you have an opportunity to take a statement from Jaylin Brazier at some point?
Yes, sir.
And when did you take a statement from Mr. Brazier?
That was June 10th of 2022.
And just for clarity of the record, when we're referring to Mr. Brazier, do you see him in court today?
Yes, sir.
And could you just point to him and describe what he's wearing?
Yes, sir. He's in that defense table in a blue suit.
Thank you. If the record could reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant.
So reflected.
And what was the purpose of you trying to take a statement from Mr. Brazier on June 10th, 2022?
Well, homicide, specifically, I think there was a commander at the time, Commander McGinnis, asked if we could go up and attempt to interview Mr. Brazier, and it tried to obtain a statement from him.
Okay. And where was the statement taken?
At the Newberry Correctional Facility in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Okay. And when you took the statement, were you alone or were you with somebody else?
I had a partner with me,
And who's your partner?
Detective Ryan Mason.
And what is Detective Mason's role in general?
He works at the Violent Crime Task Force with me.
Okay. And when you went to the Newberry Correctional Facility to meet with Mr. Brazier, were you given a meeting space to sit down with him now?
Yes, yes.
And in terms of talking with Mr. Brazier, did you make any sort of threats to him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, sir.
Did you make any promises to him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of force on him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, I did not.
Did you use any sort of trickery or deceit to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, I did not.
And did you have any reason to believe that he wasn't adequately healthy enough to provide a voluntary statement at that point?
There was no indication. No.
Okay. And before he provided the statement, did you advise him of anything?
Yes, I did.
And what did you advise him on?
His constitutional rights.
Okay, and I'm holding what has been marked as proposed exhibit 53. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Are you familiar with this document that's been marked as proposed exhibit 53?
Yes, I am.
And what is that document?
This document is called, it's a piece of paper, it's titled Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification. This is a standard rights form that the Detroit Police Department uses.
Okay, and I know we've kind of gone over this a couple of times with other witnesses, but did you advise Mr. Brazier of his rights specific to that form?
Yes, I did.
And did he make any indication in writing or orally that he understood his rights?
Yes, he did.
And did he agree to speak with you?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, actually, let me ask. In that particular document, is that a fair and accurate copy of the original document that you executed back on June 10th, 2022?
Yes, it is.
And is anybody's signature on that document?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, whose signature?
Mr. Brazier's signature is on it, along with his initials next to each of the rights, and the statement advising that he had not been threatened or promised. He also signed it. I signed it as a witness, and then Detective Mason also signed it as a witness.
Okay. With that, I would move to admit proposed exhibit 53.
No objection.
And I would pass this to any voir dires to voluntary innocent statement.
No questions.
Thank you.
Was the statement that you took from the defendant on June 10th of 2022 recorded in any way?
It was audio recorded? Yeah.
Were you able to video record the statement as well?
No, I was not.
And why not?
The facility, Newberry Correctional Facility, did not have video recording equipment for interviews. In fact, they did not have audio recording. I brought my own, and I was granted permission to use it by the warden.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 54. Is it your understanding that this contains a copy of the recording of the statement that you took from the defendant on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And other than redactions for certain audio referencing content that's not admissible in court, would it be fair to say that the recording on this disc is a fair and accurate depiction of the actual statement that you took from the defendant on June 10th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd move to admit Proposed Exhibit 54.
No objection.
And I'm also holding a transcript marked as Proposed Exhibit 55. Sergeant, if you had an opportunity to review this transcript.
Yes.
And again, other than redactions for certain content that would not be admissible in court, does this transcript, as far as you can tell, fairly and accurately depict the actual discussion that you had with the defendant back on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. And I move to admit Proposed Exhibit 55.
Okay.
May I publish Proposed Exhibit 54, Your Honor?
Yes.
Have you done other interrogations before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, several.
And do you have a particular style or methodology that you use when doing an interrogation?
Yeah, you can say that.
And what sort of, how would you describe your style?
I know that there's different techniques. I'd say mine is, if I'm going somewhere to interview him, I want him to talk to me. So I'm going to talk to him like a person. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk down to him. I'm not going to talk to him like, I'm a police officer, you're a civilian. I usually introduce myself as Lance Sullivan. I just, try to make him feel comfortable and talk to him and seems to work.
And did you use that sort of style in this particular interrogation?
Yes.
Were there any other sort of methods or tactics that were used during this particular interrogation?
I don't know I wouldn't say like a fluffing, but sometimes like, agreeing with if when they start talking, you may agree with them where I might not believe in what they're saying. I may agree with them just to make them feel comfortable and keep them talking.
Okay. And when you're interrogating somebody, do you reveal all the information that you know about the investigation?
No.
Okay. And so do you kind of play dumb to a certain extent when talking about certain subjects?
Yeah, I don't know if I play dumb or omit some. In this particular case, I had questions for him and I would refer to as, they want to know or homicide wants to know. It's kind of deflecting. So it wasn't coming from me. So, stuff like that. And
okay.
Didn't want to feel threatened.
And I'm going to.
Hey, Ghostry. So this is day 4 of a no body supposedly unaliving trial. The defendant has already been convicted of lying to the police in a different county. Night, little pill. He was convicted of lying or he pled to the lying to the police. He was doing drugs with the victim and something happened and he claims that she was just no longer alive. And he panicked, freaked out, and put her body in a dumpster and they never found it. So the state is saying that he did something to her, but the defense is claiming that no, it was just an accident.
To start publishing the exhibit at the beginning, and just for the court's awareness, this particular recording is about 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I just plan on playing certain segments. I think it adds up to roughly about 45 to 50 minutes total.
Okay.
And starting from the beginning.
I know we're out there, we're like, oh, they go here, they go here. Oh, do you have, can you take those, are we allowed to take those up here? Yeah. Is this hands? How many do you want, 1 hand, 2 hands? Yeah, normally don't, are you right handed or left handed? You're right handed or left handed? All right, well, right, is that okay? Okay. You want them all?
If you guys would do like, okay.
Sure.
Good job.
He's in control.
Thank you. But then the rest of it,
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it up. Put them in that then. Anyway, so.
you want to still bring them down?
Number of all, yeah, I'll be recommend between the gates and I'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Jim?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. My name's Lance Sullivan. What's your name, sir? You okay?
That's good.
I mean, good. Yeah, all right. So, just to give you a head, I work for Detroit Police. He works for Detroit Police, okay? Yeah, why don't you want one? And it's, the journey to get up here, right? So, our goal, like I say, we've never met you before, right? We were never involved in any of this stuff, in this, whole Zion case and all that stuff, right? But they asked, meaning like the people down in Detroit said, and it's, completely voluntarily, right? They said, come up and try to talk to you, because we're different. We don't work at homicide. We don't work missing persons, and the goal was, I guess, when we read everything that they had, meaning the police have, and so I guess the goal is to try to get resolved, right? One way or another. Let me say, I know you've told your story, right? And I know a lot of people don't believe you, but again, we don't always think like everybody, right? And there's a reason why they said, because I always say, I'll tell you, we worked together under 20 years, right? A lot of times I'll say, did you ask what if? And they're like, what do you mean what if? What if they're telling the truth, right? I mean,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just, like I said, I literally said everything I could say. During my sentencing pre-sentencing on the 16th and on the 30th, my official sentencing, very blatantly I told, and I said there's actually the prosecutor saying that I fled from police and everything. I was like, I never fled from police. I was like, how can I flee police if I don't know I'm being followed about it? I wasn't hiding or anything. There was a difference. On my pregnancy, I saw cutting a baby out of her. And it was stupid for me to stay in the car that's on fire. So we move somewhere safe. And the whole time I'm trying to make sure they're safe before I come and talk to the detectives and everything. So I told everybody I didn't do anything. I may have reacted wrong like the fucking 80s, but I didn't do anything. And a lie going will have you during my sentencing. When her mother was up there saying that, one, I never called her, I never even had her number. And then unknown to her, the day she popped up at my house unannounced with her ex-fiance, my cousin Anthony. I was on the way to go talk to Detective Rhino. I literally start my car and they pull up unannounced and hand me these flyers. So put me in a position, okay? They're like, I was like, you have to think of all the possibilities of what happened in that moment. Mm-hmm. My one and two girl at home, my prep. I have no guns, I'm a before the situation, I was a average Joe with nobody. That's peaceful, you feel me? Right. You got a couple unannounced, I don't know what's in your car, what he has, later on, like he had a crowbar, who knows what you have. Mm-hmm. So I had to react according to my situation.
I get it. And so, good. I'm not trying to interrupt you too, but so this was kind of our concept, right? They're like, well, you guys go up, and I'm like, God, it's a long ways up there. But again, I always say and I don't want to get I'm not that old of a man, but what if that was my son, right? If my son did something, right, and it wasn't the best choice, how would you treat my son, right? And we do. And Ryan, my buddy, we worked together for a long time because we think the same way. So I guess we said, something, we'll drive up there, we'll see what we can do, right? If we can sit down with you, if we can hear the story from you, right? There may be a few questions we have, a few things to fill in, but we'd be able to go back home and say, something, we're going to be the first ones to say, if it's believable, we believe it, right? Let's start the healing process, right? Because I've never met her mother. I've seen her mother on the news, and I heard her say, right? I know, but so the thing is, if you hear mom on TV say, throw them away, and then just who throw them away, and they just paint this picture of some guy, right? So again, I know this is kind of crazy. We're up here out of the blue, and you weren't expecting anything, but that was kind of like our thought. And know this, though, this doesn't have to be. Remember, I never met you before, right? You never met him. We don't have anything against you. You never did anything to me, right? And I just, if I can get you to understand it and truly believe that, this doesn't have to be a one conversation deal, right? You can call me, you can say, hey, come on up here if you want to talk about something. If you're getting threats, it's not we're going to talk in 10 minutes and we're leaving. I appreciate that. But there are, we got to, of course, you're incarcerated. We're talking about the case. We got to go over your rights. You still have the right to an attorney. All of that applies. If you get to the point where you say, hey, I don't want to talk about that, but I'll talk about this. We pretty much know everything you're going to say, right? I mean, it's not like, we're twisting it, but again, this is what we do, right? We're not homicide. We're not missing persons. And we do. We come back, and a lot of people, they do respect what we say. And I remember I always say, what if? And I said that, what if he is telling the truth? You just say,
address, what we do, right on Greenfield, main road, not know who's in her house or anything, man.
There's nobody living there, right?
Not anymore. Lord got kicked in, we're trying to find my fiance and my kids. He's told me that they're coming to hurt them.
Oh, my gosh.
That's all I've ever done. I don't, it's crazy. Like, okay, one day you're a normal ass dude.
Yeah.
Bullshit, unexpected ass thing happens. You feel me? And then, you know, you're the topic of all kinds of conspiracy and even your own family. Thinking nobody back on it. Sticking to myself.
Yeah. All right, so let me, if it's all right, like I said, I want to go over your rights, I want to go over all this stuff, and just understand, there's no pressure, right? And you're thinking like, I never met these guys, but we don't change. There's no, you know, first impression of who we are. So if you're, like I said, if you want to talk to us, I certainly want to hear this story, okay? That's the truth. You're familiar with the Vice Right form? Okay.
Not yet.
And I know you can read right here. You went, how far to school? Oh, yeah, okay, all right. So, what's that? You're elected. Oh, wow. Any interest in that?
I was supposed to go to the middle, I was supposed to marry my mom, and then I was supposed to actively, so that they can bring me, I can go to the end.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, let me say this, man. And this sounds crazy, but like, you know, I don't know if you're religious or not, right? But I would say, like, you know, for me, I say, like, God has a plan. There's a lot of times, like, I don't understand a lot of stuff that's happened to me, and he says the same thing with his family. But somehow, some way, there's a plan for this to work, right? Yeah. What's your middle name, Jaylin?
Omar.
Okay, and what's your last? B-R-A? Brazier? Okay. And your date of birth? And you know your social security number?
Yes.
What is it? So if you do me a favor, I'm sure you've seen these before, read these out loud to me. Initial one that you understand, and then if you're,
Situation kind of, some people always told me just to be honest.
yeah, and, but,
we would tell you, like, you don't believe it.
and that's the worst.
I'm like, what if I get you? Demon God control me here. I understand that I have the right to remain silent and that I do not have to answer any questions put to me in any statements. Any statement I make or anything I say will be used against me in any court of law. I have the right to an attorney, lawyers present before and during the time I answer any questions or make any statements. If I cannot afford an attorney, one will give one or two without cost by the court prior to any questions. I can decide at any time that it's my rights and I answer any questions or make any statements. I understand that these are my rights under the law. I have not been threatened or promised anything, and I now desire and agree to answer any question put to me or to make a statement. As I understand this.
Okay, is that fair? All right, if you just do the initial those, next to each right, and I have to sign and date it, I'll sign it. Ryan will sign it as witnesses. And like I said, there's no pressure, right? I mean, it's, you've been through all of this, right? Oh, I know.
That's how I talk to them. I came as I was supposed to, and it still went fucking shit. I'm in prison right now. I'm in fucking prison right now. I never expected this.
Right.
I'm missing birthdays this month. My third one's due. It's just all just fucked up.
Sign there, and then, yep, signature and date. It's June 10th? Yep, June 10th, 2022, it's 11:49 a.m. All right, and I'll sign it, and I'll sign it, thanks, June 10th.
I'm gonna pause the video at the 11-minute mark and skip ahead to the 17-minute mark and resume again.
We will come talk again, we'll make it work, right? I mean, so I guess, again, I know, you know, and then again, if it gets tough, tell me, but, you know, it's time, but I guess I kind of like, just want to go back, like, to talk about Zion, or, you know, I haven't heard anything about her, other than the fact that she was missing, right? So, I mean,
Okay.
who is she to
She
you?
is my cousin through marriage. We became close after the mom. This is what she told me.
Yeah.
My girl witnessed this and her friend, her mom was
That's the defendant right there.
for a long time, kind of, a lot of tribalism. These cases we talk to, you know, from our close, my immediate family, you know, and we only talk to other family like either cookouts or family gatherings, reunions, you know, we do stuff there. Zion's had graduated from home because, well, her words, her mom, she had one of her boyfriends not bad at mother's house. Her mom essentially didn't like that, so calling her a whore and all that other stuff. And apparently, she said, well, they gun on her. So she ran away. She texted me and her friend Alima on Instagram at the time.
How long ago are we talking?
This was last year. It was before it got cold again, so I would say the end of the summer. Yeah, I came over for a game, and that's what she told me. Everything she wanted was like, your mom put a gun on me. And first I didn't believe her. I'm like, okay. So she told me more details. She told me everything that happened to her while she was younger. She said that for a while, for over a year, she was getting raped, and her mom didn't like move like this. And I also went through some similar unfortunate happenings. And that was basically our bonding, the glue right there. So since then, I would just, if you need anything, I got you, I got you. That actually cried. And it was, everything she went through was way more than I could have expected, so I had to call her dad, who lived in Chicago at the time, when she told me. After that, she left to stay with her friend Lima, and she kept contact with me on our phone. I at the time.
Where was Lima? Was she out of state? Was
Lima stays on the east side. I forget that is, but it's on the east side for sure.
The Dreads is his lawyer.
She would text her number. She used to email and say she's talking to.
Apparently he's a really good lawyer. Got a not guilty alive trial before this. David,
This is all like the year, like
this is
right before it got cold again.
4 or 5 months before New Year's.
Okay, and this is when you really got close to her?
Yeah.
You knew her though?
Yeah, I knew her. We never talked to her, never kicked it. When the Texas came back, the whole country, my whole family just did.
You did?
Yeah, we went to Texas in 2010, came back in 2016. And that's when I came back to Job Corps, graduated. Anyway, back to topic.
Yeah.
Lima? Lima. Just staying with her for a minute. And I'm pretty sure y'all can look at all this other phone records from her number, unless she used it in an email or something. I don't know. Then she would be with her grandmother, who lives close to my house, going down Greenfield, at some home, senior home. I don't know. It might be a part of the senior home. After that, we talked to all of them every once in a while. And this happens. We were paying this after New Year's. This was January 4th.
Okay. Well, let me back up before we hit that. Was there, like, I understand, like, you know, she wanted like to smoke weed, stuff like that. But did you ever hang out with her before that? Like, ever?
Outside of her coming over that night, she had nowhere to go, and she ran away. And I thought she couldn't stay there. I was like, I got my arm, but run away. I was like, figure out where you want to go. And that was basically it. She went her for Lima, who drives a Cavalier or something like that. Some Dodge. After that, it just, she texted me, she FaceTimed me, you know, are you okay? Good, love you. All right, cool. I'm having trouble. That's about the extent of it.
Okay.
She has to hang out every once in a while, so all the time I'm busy, either at work or just don't feel like it. Besides that, that was the extent of it.
So you never hung out with her? This is like a.
I'm not like going places. No,
Yeah.
I'm an indoor person. I say average Joe, nobody. I say a lot of happiness. I would work. I go home. That's all I did. I go to the clubs.
That's me. Everyone knows me. That's me. And I do so good with my kids.
That's the extent of when I do everything I do is at home. So that was my spot.
Sure.
So nothing.
Simple life, simple problems.
Until this.
Wow. So that's,
Before what? Then jumping ahead. That's really the
yeah. No, that's good. I like
the situation. Her mom started marrying her, so her friend Lima hit me up on Instagram once, and I think she gave her my number. And she texted me all my numbers. So anyway, for some reason, and I had go on at this recording, and like she really say that to her mom. Her mom, Zion's mom, asked Lima for a screenshot of our conversation, and sent that to my side of the family to make it seem as though I was talking to my cousin in a sexual way. And I don't know who said that. So that was the catalyst to start for all.
Was this when she was missing?
Yes, this is recent.
Okay.
Immediately, how that communication started between her and mom. Me and my fiance were at her all-time appointment, see how far along she is. And Zion's boyfriend called me. I don't know how y'all know. I've never spoken to him.
Sure.
I told him to have her mom call me, and then her mom called me, and that's how the contact became.
Oh, and this was after?
Yes.
All right, so if we can, let's back up and go like through that night, if you can. So she never came over and smoked weed before? It's like the first time?
We smoked like probably once before that. I would say exact date, I would not know. But it was
within weeks, months?
Months, definitely. I don't know.
Okay.
I actually started smoking because I had seizures. And I got my seizures.
Okay.
And all my weed is legal from the.
I'm gonna stop recording at 23:55. At this point, was there some reference made by the defendant as to why he
Not sure his name.
marijuana?
Yes.
And what was that reason?
He
given?
said he started smoking because he had seizures.
I've seen the video at 23:55.
I really shake business out. So yeah, this is after New Year's. Yeah, she texted me after New Year's. You want to hang out? Like, cool. Yeah, why not? I told everybody. I have my own weed. She brought her own weed. That's the extent of what I know. We were chilling. I ate these girls. She had a pop her. It was just a normal day. Chilling, watching YouTube. About an hour 30 went by. Previously, she was saying that she was feeling tired. I was like, okay, that's a normal thing with marijuana. When you feel tired, I'm like, okay, cool. Not big deal. I get up to go give me some Kool-Aid, but it was irregular. He's a carrot target. Kool-Aid, come back, sit down. Finish my cup, please 30 minutes, go down, okay, stop me, take me back home. That hurt. Right onto the porch. Straight like that, and that's the start of my night. Straight up, right there, that's the start of it. Like I told you, it's all on TV.
I don't want to hear, I want to hear you right now, you know.
At that moment, like I told him, I was nowhere close to a normal mindset. Like I've never been that terrified in my life at all. I waited, I shook her, I said, okay, she's not breathing. Pulses from my training one period, here. No pulses, no air. She was just dead, and I didn't know what to do. And like I said, in that moment, I had to think about everything. My first thing, and ironically, because of the situation, I was like, somehow, motherfucker's going to say that I did something to her. That's the very first thought I had. I was like, this is fucked up. I was like, yo, my kids, my wife, we just got this duplex. We were homeless for like 2 years, living with my brother without the car. It was stressful. We just got here in April before New Year's. It just got on her feet. It just got a car. In retrospect, I'm like, I couldn't really just calm down. I was trying to calm down. I don't know. Right. I don't know, man. But so then, her mom calls me, and I'm scared still. I'm still trying to figure out the best possible way to it. And I'm like, the best possible way to handle this is to talk to Ryan, which was my plan. So I'm like, I don't know. Ryan Hall calls me. I think he's point detective, and we scheduled time for me to come there and talk to him. That's what I'm getting the next day. The next day, I literally get into my car, go to start the car, and she pulls up and Evan pulls up, completely blindsiding me. So I'm like, I can't just tell you what happened right now because one, you know where I stay. I don't know how you know where I stay. My kids, I don't think about the safety of my family right now.
Absolutely.
And then you plug these flyers, and it's fucked up. It's very fucked up. I can understand about her perspective, but I had to react the best way I can, protect them for as long as I can, so I can get them somewhere safe. That's just what it was. Right. So then, bam, I went there to go see Ryan Hall that day. The next day, Ryan Hall calls me on you're my main suspect, hit the news, you want to visit your house. I'm like, see, that's got to be some kind of infringement of rights or something because I'm on the news part. The next thing I know, all down to my address, right off Greenfield, everything I'm saying. So now who knows who could be following my house, going to work or watching us, who knows? Not to mention he death threat, kicking in my door, shooting my firstborn, shot in the head, regardless on everything. I'm going it while I was in Macomb County. This is calling my girlfriend now. Whether I did anything or not, like shoot her firstborn in the head and hurt Katrina, who's pregnant, still down. Whether you did anything or not, because we just want you to feel how you feel. So this is what I'm dealing with. Of course, now from this is why I play no contest to lie to the police. I'm like, in my opinion, I did not lie. I was on the way to talk to you, literally, but I know you.
I'm going to stop at 28 minutes and 21 seconds. So just to be clear, was there some kind of representation that the defendant made about whether or not he lied?
Yeah.
And what did he indicate?
He did not lie.
I'm going to continue the video, the audio recording at 28 minutes and 21 seconds.
So now your perspective is, oh, he's dodging. I'm like, no, I'm not dodging. So then, from that point on, actually, while we left the house, I can't explain it. I was laying down and I was having this intense feeling that something's about to happen. Like, intense, like it had to be God. Like, something bad is about to happen, like safety-wise. I try to sleep it off. I can't sleep it off. I'm like, okay. So I said, okay, like I usually just listen to your gut. I woke up my fiance, got my kids, and went to my brother's house and stayed in Pontiac. We get out there. The next day, I wake up and on our phone, our alarm system is tripped. And somebody kicked in the door and ripped out the pad, yeah, the pad, and ripped the whole thing up, reached the front door and the back door. Later, I find out, later that day, I wake up, there's a tow truck in front of my car. I think this is where they try to say that I was a menace to society running from police. There's a tow truck in front of my car. Anybody should actually see a tow truck in front of your car, so run to your car. You're just instinct. I run to the car, I'm about to start. In the blink of eyes, like 8, I would say back 8 FBI agents with guns drawn on me, so I'm screaming, get out of the car, with your hands up. Some movie shit. Straight up. Right. My girl's screaming, she's crying, so from my perspective, trying to protect myself, okay, that compromised the safety of where I was going to have to be. And then I was going to stab my brother that comes off the right now. But now, I don't know who knows where y'all at. So I can move y'all from here.
Stop at 30 minutes and 10 seconds. So we went to 37 minutes.
Trust me, I've had quite a few incidences where they're like, he's right, it's not what it appears to be. So what we heard, and I'll give you a little bits and pieces of it, right? And part of it is like, the police concentrate on like timelines, right? So we want to get a timeline. If someone says something.
When Brian spoke to me, and then when I got my first question, Brian was asking me all types of shit. Well, basically, what I'm saying is, by the time I talk to them, like, clearly, so they already have in mind what they believe. He's asking the dude who was telling me, yeah, I have cousins in marriage, and sometimes you get these, I'm quoting it, you get these feelings, and there's nothing. Essentially, you think there's some kind of romantic situation with me and my cousin, essentially, and that's what y'all were running with. That's what they ran with, essentially. Then I get to county, and my correspondent, Timothy Donnie, he tells me, he's like, well, they said they presented you with evidence, this, that, and I was like, no, none of that ever happened. I came to y'all like a civilized human being and told y'all what happened. Literally, that's it. So basically, from my perspective, I was like, okay, well, the narrative is written. That's just how it's felt since then. No matter what I said, literally, even though everything I told y'all is the truth, and there's no more to it. There's not.
Right. All right, and that's kind of like, so now you have an idea of what I'm being fed. We're being fed, right? So it's like, okay, well, now I guess, and then they key on every single thing, right? Like, when he said this, said that, he said A, and then he said and, right? Not literally, right? But it gets to be that. So the whole LSD thing came up. Mm-hmm. And then, you tell me.
Yeah, like, I tried like that. I did for spiritual reasons. I don't say psychedelics. I don't know what the assumption is. He asked me, I honestly asked me, I've tried psychedelics, tried LSD.
Did you never told like you guys both had a hit that night? Is that, you tell me, use your words. All I'm saying is I'm telling you what I'm getting from, right? Yeah, and I want to get the truth. I want to know what the hell's going on here.
And you told me you kept pressuring me for something to say.
So who was this now?
The dude who was interrogating me. It wasn't Reinhold. It was a different dude. I don't know his name.
What was the setting? Was he with Reinhold?
No.
Did he talk to you by himself?
Yeah, he was talking to me by himself.
White guy, black guy?
Black guy, blue eyes. He was asking me how I was, so from my perspective, it was maybe the best questions. He asked me the first question, have I ever hurt anybody I love? I was yes. Remembering my fiance, we've been in arguments before. Obviously, that's what I'm thinking about. But flip side, at that point, I just.
Was he a big guy? Have a portly, big belly?
Well, you're a good belly.
Oh, big belly. See the difference, huh?
Yeah, I tried acid. And that was that.
Now you said something about impression. Did you tell him something that wasn't?
Yeah, I started trying to come with shit. You know, I was like, he's like, his exact wording was, did she have anything with her, or could she have touched anything? And I was like, I don't know. Only thing else that I had was LSD. He goes, my memory's lost. He goes, oh, if you were under this, it was acid. That wasn't you that hurt her. I was like, I never started hurt anybody. I'm answering your questions. And that's why I'm talking to him. Like, you're trying to box me into something I'm not saying. And
all right, okay. And so the version that I heard was like, was that like
almost there.
Well, I left that out about the LSD, but yeah, we both took a hit of LSD, and it must have hit her different, hit her wrong.
Yeah.
Did you say it bullshit to him, or did he? See, I'm saying he's telling me that. I'm trying to say, is he telling me bullshit that you didn't say, or did you tell him?
That's why I told him. Okay, I don't pressure you. Just throw something out there before I did not mention that I tried acid for any guys still not believe, but I just want to talk.
And I'm stopping at 41 minutes and 31 seconds. Near this point, it sounded like you summarized a prior statement about LSD. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was the defendant's response to that?
I'm kind of confused. That he told.
What did he tell you about that prior statement?
Yeah, that he told the investigator that his words were get him off of him. You know, that it wasn't true.
Okay. Did he use a specific phrase to describe what he had said previously? Rhymes with bullshit.
That's me.
Let's go back. Let's go back.
Rhymes with bullshit.
Audio, second. Let's start at 4:25.
Anything with her, or could she have touched anything? And I was like, I don't know. Only thing else that I had was LSD. He goes,
we got about 10 minutes.
My memory's lost. He goes, oh, if you were under the influence of acid, that wasn't you that hurt her. I said, I never started hurting anybody. I'm answering your questions. And that's why I'm talking to him. Like, you're trying to box me into something I'm not saying. And
all right, okay. So the version that I heard was like, was that like, well, I left that out about the LSD, but yeah, we both took a hit of LSD, and it must have hit her different, or hit her wrong.
And stopping at 41 minutes and 12 seconds. So what was his response when you described the LSD issue?
He said it's bullshit.
Continue at 41 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Did you say it bullshit to him, or did he? See, I'm saying he's telling me that. I'm trying to say, is he telling me bullshit that you didn't say, or did you tell him?
That's why I told him. I don't pressure you. Just throw something out there before I did not mention that I tried acid for
afraid they got stuff on the lead, but I just want these dogs to talk to you. I'm scared as fuck of the dog. They also asked for DNA. I gave them that. So it's still running with the narrative that something could have happened to me or her. I've been cooperating the whole time.
Okay. Makes sense. I'm just talking. I mean, it's like, you know, what's that?
I said, filter word.
Yeah. There's more where that came from Myers. So, yeah, but again, that was something, so what, kind of look at the narrative, like the big picture, and they're looking at like, well, he said this time, right? You look at, you know, the way police get information, right? If you're not well-rounded, and you're looking at everything, saying, well, he said this the first time, then, oh, by the way, he just threw in the acid part. So they start thinking, what else?
Throw in normal what fuck you're in.
Yeah, no, trust me, I get it. Let me tell you, I'm gonna back off all of this for one.
Stop at 42 minutes and 24 seconds and move to 49-minute mark.
You know, if I didn't care, or if I didn't, you know, put that extra into it, you know, so I understand where you're coming from about the LSD part. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because, so I'll be honest, as soon as you said that, what did they do? They started scrolling through records, right? Did he ever buy it? Did we see anything in the records? Facebook, does he sell it?
He asked me about an OnlyFans account, which was completely out of left field. I told him no, because I didn't understand what the question was. But me and my girl were free. We just don't free shit. I was like that. Those are the type of out of the blue questions that have shit to do with the situation, which is made me uncomfortable. I'm like, what are you getting at here? And yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. I've been honest this whole time. I don't have any. A lot of these various situations get worse for me because that's all I see.
And that's why we kind of like, certainly when they brought it up and we were certainly willing to come up, and then I'm like, hold on a second, let's see, because the theory is this, when, you know, you'll hear people say it, like, tell your story, don't let anyone else tell your story, right? And so that was, and then that's where it's heading. They're digging, right? They're doing it all over the news, they're looking, they're digging, and, you know, they're a couple weeks into it, you know, they found some stuff, but again, it's looking like if we find that, then we can do this, you know, and you know, again, that's not how I work. You know, if I'm putting my name on something, Ryan's putting his name on something, we want to make sure we're thorough, we're comfortable, you know. There's some talk, so just so we understand each other, I'm completely comfortable with it. There was the LSD, you're saying there was no LSD taken. Okay, it was for that guy that was interviewing you?
Yeah, completely. 100%.
Okay, so that night when you were with her, it was just.
I had my own weed from Liz, the dispensary in Ferndale. I have no idea where she gets her stuff from.
Okay, did you guys mix your weed or something?
Never.
Okay, because I heard that, again, I'm glad I heard this, because when did your understanding you had mixed the weed?
No, I have no idea in my jar, which I told the detective where it was. Do whatever forensics, whatever checks.
Do you know if she had any weed left over or something they could have tested of her? Did they get any weed?
I have no idea. They didn't tell me anything. I told him, I told him, man, I don't know. That's them.
Okay.
Whatever. The only weapons in my house is a gardening machete and a pocket knife. So I'm pretty sure from what they believe that they would have looked at that, seen there's nothing there. I honestly assumed that with whatever you could have found in my house would only prove that I did not do it. Sure. I told y'all, which would have been insane to come to y'all regardless what happened. Like, that's my only defense.
No,
what the fuck did I come to people? I know what your job is. Most of you, all of you at least, do all your job thoroughly. It's your job for a reason, you know?
Right, yeah, and then we did it too, right?
And I'll come to you and I'll tell you, I don't believe you. This is the narrative that we're hearing about this, and have you ever heard anybody you love? After asking me when having my fiance got to it, you can't say that's not manipulative, like literally. And mind you, I told everyone I met, I don't know what the fuck going on. Truly, I've never had to get a lawyer, never been in any. This is the most real life to movie shit I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah. Like I told my lawyer, I'm a normal Joe at home. Damn this. My track record, stupid ass deaths, and I've been cool. I don't have stuff. It's fucking.
I'm going to stop at 53 minutes, and the next chunk is a little bit longer, so.
Okay, yeah, it was 3:58, so this is a good time to break. I realize, ladies and gentlemen, you've done us a lot of studies. That's got
Looks like that's it.
in January of.
All right. That is it. Hella has hearsay for days coming up. Let's see. Post that. That's gonna be at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, Eastern. Hearsay for days. Really great stream. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I'm gonna end it here, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Talk to you later.